Greetings everyone, how are you all doing? Today I'll be playing my new Angeles Soul deck, and I'm up against Ken Tenma. Now, I won't be commentating too much on the game, I'm just going to ramble on about the aspect of Netrunner that not many people talk about. Generally, if you are the one that is reacting to your opponent's plays consistently, you are probably on the back foot. That's what I noticed in a lot of games, and it will be very evident in this game. Um, the thing is, often it is the case where one side has the advantage and the other side is busy playing catch up. The side that's playing catch up is basically modifying their play, adapting their play, but making it suboptimal. They're playing suboptimally because they need to defend against their opponent's plays. And that usually means that the opponent can do whatever they want to do, but they are struggling because they are just trying to get by, trying to defend, being one step behind. And so it began with this game where I did get a good DBS going, but I'm not able to afford ice on R&D like I usually have. If my opponent here was a Kate or maybe a Valencia, both of my pop-up windows and toe booth on HQ right now would be on R&D instead. I would be defending R&D because there are no agendas in hand. Why am I defending HQ? He's Ken Tenma. Obviously he runs Siphon. 3 copies of Crown Siphon. You have to expect that. And because of that, I am forced to dedicate my eyes to HQ. Pop-up window was a very weird choice. It is the worst eyes possible on HQ against a Siphon deck. Firstly, because it does not end the run. Rezzing it on my first turn was definitely a huge mistake. But more importantly, because it gives you more credits for the runner to siphon away. So I do finally find some ice with my DBS, but it's a bit too little too late. He's on match point already. He found 2 Astro Scripts at my 15 minutes. Now the good news is the 15 minutes can be bounced back to my deck, so I am not in danger of losing the game just yet. But I really do need to find a way to stabilize immediately, and this doesn't help. I draw into an NAPD. Of course I reshuffle the 15 minutes back in. I do not want to lose right away, but this game I'm already very far on the back foot, and this is where you start seeing me react to my opponent instead. Already from the start of the game I was playing catch up. I was reacting to my opponent by installing so much ice on HQ, an action that I would never normally take. As I mentioned in my previous videos, if you haven't checked out my other videos on this deck yet, please go ahead because my previous videos cover how this deck is supposed to work. But basically, I do not want HQ ice because if everything goes well, there will be no agendas in HQ because I usually don't draw. Daily business does the drawing for me, and this means that I can filter through the agendas and make sure that I draw top deck agendas only when I want to. I'm drawing into more agendas. At least HQ is kind of secure. He can still get in with enough money, and that is a huge worry because everything on HQ is a code gate, and he has a passport out already. And yeah, now he goes in for the Siphon, which is really bad news. He can very easily siphon me down and pay through the toll booth and the pop-up window. So now the pop-up window gives me 1 extra credit to play with, which is bad. This means that he gets to siphon more money from me. I can res the team sponsorship here. The last remote is a Jackson Howard, which is pointless to res. So I'm actually giving him 3 credits worth of Siphon. No, I'm giving him 4 credits. Why? Paywall implementation. This is a subtle but very important weakness. I thought my deck was pretty good against account Siphon because of the use of 3 sensitivity grids. Raising a sensitivity grid makes me go broke, but at least it keeps the runner out. Away from the Siphon gain. And it also forces them to trash the Sansan because otherwise I would have an easy fast advance avenue. The problem is, not only did I not find my Sansan, but the paywall implementation is working against my favor. It gave him 1 extra credit to Siphon, which means that he now has 2 more credits than he really should. So yeah, paywall is actually working against me. How ironic. Now I'm still gaining some good money because he is constantly running my remote servers, but what's the use of the money? The problem is he's so rich right now that he can easily just run through my R&D. And not to mention that it's impossible to score agendas right now. So I'm gonna Jackson in all these agendas, including the final copy of Astro Script, because I simply cannot score it right now. And I cannot keep it in my hand because he can easily legwork me. I have to be very aware of that. HQ is completely open to him right now with his large credit pool. Now I am able to defend R&D thanks to Newshound, which is such a powerful ice. Once again, this ice is just absolutely amazing, and it keeps him out hard, dead, cold, and the run. So finally, I'm not reacting to him. Finally, I'm playing my own game. I'm finally getting the chance to set up. I do have a marked account, and I'm planning to install it right now, because I really do need to get the money to be able to start scoring agendas through Sensen City Grid. And here I install a Cyberdex Virus Suite on HQ because in the event that he siphons me down again, I want to make sure that he gets as little profit from it as possible. It's all about economic control. I do not have any form of tech punishment in this deck. I really do wish I have a closed accounts right here, but I don't, which means that account siphon is forever going to haunt me. It's like max ether decks, ether siphon decks. They siphon you down all the way, and they use ether to run through R&D using your money. With my money, he's going to be able to install all the breakers he wants and get through all the toll booths he wants. So this is definitely not something that I can accept. I need to make sure that his siphons do not gain him too much money. It's not gonna be easy, I must say. My deck is definitely not tailored to do well against siphon spam, and this I just realized right now. Well, I find 2 Sensen City Grid, so that can't be too bad. Hopefully I can tax him out. I do install one behind a wraparound because he does not have a barrier breaker out. So now I'm forcing him to play according to my tempo. He has to react to me, and this usually works out in my favor, because if I'm forcing him to run my remote, it means that he cannot play account siphon. Well, he could siphon me so that he can easily run the remote if he wants to. I'm not sure if that's the best play for him though. But whatever he was planning to do last turn, he can't do it now because he needs to contest my remote. So I'm going to res the wraparound here to keep him out. I am expecting an inside job here. He's Ken Tenma. I definitely expect an inside job, which is fine, because I do have a backup Sensen City Grid in my hand. Let's see what he does here. He does run my remote on his second to last click, so he only has 1 click left to deal with my remote. And nope, he dirty laundries my DBS instead. Very wise choice by him here. As a runner that is very focused on HQ pressure, you want to deny every single DBS that you can. Unfortunately for him, the moment I score this 15 minutes from my hand, I can revive the DBS, and that's something that I'm keeping in mind. Here I continue trying to bait him into running my remote again. Let's see if that's possible. He plays Fist Investment Seminar, which means that he's probably going for my hand, or trying to deter me from scoring the agenda in my remote. Because if I do attempt to score the agenda in my remote, I would have to dump a lot of cards. Instead he goes for the legwork, so he can be quite sure that I'll be agenda flooded here, thanks to the Fist Seminar. But that's not the case. The only agenda in my hand is the 15 minutes, which I don't mind him stealing. Although it is a bit of a loss. Losing 15 minutes means I cannot trigger team sponsorship at will. I think it's very bold for him to legwork me like that, because the upgrade on HQ might be a Crucium Grid. I really wouldn't have done that if I were him, but well, lucky for him, I was bluffing. It turned out to just be a Cyberdex Virus Suite. So he installs a Corroder and finally goes for my remote. By this time, I have more than enough money to fast advance agendas. Because of his repeated running, Paywall has been paying off for me. Now I have enough money to fast advance. Does he trash the Sensen? He trashes the Sensen. Very wise choice, denying all the correct upgrades and assets from me. The 15 minutes was really necessary. I wish I had that here. Instead, I'm just going to continue icing up my Sensen remote. This will tax him on his dog tokens. And with my last click, I install another Cyberdex, I believe. No, it's not a Cyberdex. I'm not sure what that is. But he's on match point. I really should be pulling the 15 minutes back to my hand, but I felt pretty safe because R&D was watertight. He still has no answers for the 4 strength sentry that is on R&D. Unfortunately, he's going for my HQ here. He's siphoning me. Thankfully, it's not a legwork because this Fist Investment Seminar drew me 3 agendas. Ouch. That is pretty horrible. So he's using Fist Investment Seminar to cause a lot of problems for me. I usually can avoid having agendas in hand, but Fist Investment Seminar forces agendas in hand. This is something I need to react to, and it's not going to end well for me. I res a DBS, and I think it is here that I begin scoring an agenda. With 9 credits, you bet that I need to do something soon, and exactly that. This is the time to start scoring, because if I don't score right now, he's just gonna win. So I finally get some scoring going, and no better agenda than the final Astro script in my deck. I do resurrect a daily business show, so he cannot deny me my daily business shows. I pop a global food initiative into my heap. Actually, no. I think I installed Jackson Howard, and I pop the food in my heap, because food is a useless agenda to me at this point. I suppose I could try to score it from the remote server, but that's very dangerous to do right now. I'd much rather just fast advance my bills and hopefully pull back the 15 minutes to close out the game. Yeah, that remote was a Jackson Howard. So let's see what he does here. Again, he has to play reactionary to me. Now that I've res a Sansan, he has to consider trashing the Sansan City Grid in my remote. If I can get him to trash the Sansan in my remote, I'm coming out ahead, because this is going to cost him a lot of time and money. So yeah, again, the concept of forcing the runner to play at your tempo is a huge one. And similarly, now he's forcing me to play at his tempo. Now I'm forced to ice up R&D, because he just nullified my News Hound. And he's going to make us eye. Not much I can do about this here. I'm only on 1 credit, so I can't rest the innermost piece of ice. I was counting on the News Hound to defend me from losing, but it didn't hold up. The fam killed me, and he found the last 2 agenda points to win. So I think you'll agree that account Siphon was the fundamental problem this game, because it forced me to ice up HQ, which basically affected my defense in all other servers. Also accelerated his ability to get lots of money, which enabled him to fam my News Hound that early on. So, concluding that account Siphon is the weakness of my deck, what can I do to solve that problem? Trust me, doing a postmortem of the game, I spent half an hour to 1 hour just staring at Netrunner DB, looking at every single NBN card, and even entertaining out of faction options, but I just couldn't find any. Close accounts and psychographics are direct answers to tag me decks, but unfortunately they have absolutely no synergy whatsoever with any other card in my deck. This is after all a pure fast advanced deck. It does not punish tags at all, and I do not even run a single copy of Breaking News. And note that Ken Tenma in that game wasn't running any resources either, so I couldn't punish him sufficiently. Sealed Vault is the natural solution, along with Crisium Grid against Siphon decks, but these all cost 1 influence. It's not a lot of influence, but it means that I need to give up my other tech slots, which is Cerebral Static, which means that it affects my matchup against Max and Noise, which is not something I'm willing to sacrifice, because this deck is meant to be a counter against Noise. So what about Universal Connectivity Fee, which it looks pretty good. It is something that completely kills repeated account siphons, but also is able to tax somewhat like a pop-up window, even in non-tag me matchups. Problem is, it's useless against AI breakers, and Anatomy of Anarchs do run AI breakers. So I can't be tagging just for Ken Tenma or criminals for that matter. I'm also worried about Siphon Anarchs. Information overload is terrible. It's absolutely terrible against non-Siphon matchups. I suppose I could filter them out while doing my daily business show draws, but it's definitely not a piece of ice I want to see most of the time. And also, it'll take a couple of siphons before information overload actually kicks in. By then, the runner probably already has found a solution to strength 4 sentries. Private Security Force is actually a good agenda on paper, and the best thing is it doesn't require a proper deck slot to use. You just swap NAPD out. The problem is NAPD is just so much better in most other matchups. It also doesn't help that even if you find a Private Security Force against a Siphon deck, like in this game, it wouldn't be very easy to score the Private Security Force at all, since it's not a 3-point agenda. 3 advanced agenda. Lily Lockwell is a new card in Data and Destiny, and it does make use of tags to tutor out an operation. The problem with that is to use her, you need to draw 3 cards in the first place. That is the price that comes with rezzing Lily Lockwell. In addition to that, it requires that the runner doesn't trash it, which they might because it only has a trash cost of 3, and even then, um, yeah, it's just not that generically useful. I mean, it's nice if you can tilt out Siphon, Biotic Labor in non-Siphon matchups, but most matchups, the runner won't be having any tags, and in Siphon matchups, how much will it help anyway? I'm not so sure. So many cards, so few options. I guess I just have to live with the fact that Account Siphon is very much a direct counter to my deck, and I just have to hope that I find an early Sansan to deny the early Siphons. Otherwise, I'll suffer very much like this game, and the runner will go out of control with the economy. That is undesirable, but it's something I have to live with. Thanks for watching and happy net running. Oh, and if you have any suggestions, I have my deck list in my description, but do note that I have spent a lot of time thinking about this, so I will be very critical when it comes to analyzing your suggestions, but suggestions are still welcome. Do leave them if you have any. Again, thanks for watching. See you around.